Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It's April 1st, April Fool's Day. I don't think many people are playing too many tricks today, which is not a bad thing. But just thought I would do a midweek checkup on everybody and see how everything's going and sort of have a little reflection. As you can tell, I'm just chilling out today. Haven't really done a whole lot of anything, and for the most part, I've been busy eating and doing a little bit of cleaning and phone calls, emails, Zoom meetings, etc. But it seems like baking is my thing to do at this point, something that I miss doing when I, was back in the day. The problem is I bake and then I tend to eat because, of course, with all this, what we call social distancing, what I call physical distancing, I don't have the ability to share it with as many people as I would like to, so I'm trying to just do more cooking versus baking. But as you can see, I put the little thing with the little daisies around because I feel like, it's spring. There's a little nip in the air, but had a nice walk this morning. I was in charge of my 3-year-old grandson Noah this morning, and so took him over to Casey's house and we walked the dogs, and it was really lovely, just seeing crocuses pop up and realizing that life is continuing even in the midst of all of the stuff that's going on around us. And I actually changed the sign in front of the church yesterday, and something that I just don't seem to think about very often, which I thought about, and I wrote out there, "Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice." Philippians 4:4. Even in the bad times, trying times, scary times, and anxious times, we need to remember to rejoice in the Lord always, for God is able to do the impossible, even in the midst of what seems like the impossible. I spoke last Sunday about the dry bones, and maybe that this is a time of people finding strength in the Lord when before they were attempting to find strength in material things or other people or whatever it may be. But right now I believe that this is a perfect time to share the gospel. So in any way that you can, if you're able to share the gospel with somebody today, tomorrow, please do so. It's a time of prayer, a time to really just keep our world in prayer. Start with your community and then just work the way out and work your way into the world and just the earth as a whole. I was taking a walk, a couple days ago, and I know there was people here in Wareham that were painting rocks and putting them out in front of people's homes and in yards and public places where people could see them. And I was walking the dog and I looked down and here's a little green rock. I took a photo of it that just said hello. And it made me stop and think as I was walking around that it was just like, it was this bright green and it was so vibrant, and it just made me think, what? Hello world, hello earth, hello around me. And I just took that moment to just stop and take in what was around me. Some green pieces of grass were really shooting up in the area. There's some blossoms of, I'm assuming maybe some tulips that were coming up, or maybe it's daffodils. I don't really know for sure. Probably daffodils. They hadn't come into bloom yet, but the little buds are there. There's a bush right around the area that has little buds that are starting to come out on it. And life is just coming alive in nature. And as I continued my walk, it made me stop and think that we're in the midst of, just praying and worrying about this virus and all that's going on around us. But as I continued to walk, I took a trash bag with me, just a shopping bag, like a Stop and Shop plastic bag. And only on the sidewalk, I just picked up nip bottles and some plastic bottles along the way. And I didn't even do the whole block because I would have needed 3 or 4 bags. I didn't go out into the street. I only went along the sidewalk. And maybe this is a time where maybe we need to take a look at what's going on around us, not just with the people, but also with the earth. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Wouldn't it just make the world a better place if maybe we were to just carry a trash bag around with us, and, when we're walking around the corner, we can at least pick up a small bag of trash when we're walking the dog. I know I pick up the mess my dog makes, so I just take a bigger bag to put that in and fill it up along the way. It's not heavy. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. And hopefully, in the process, we can help clean up things just a little bit. I know we do a Wareham Matters, and we do a street cleanup every year. Wouldn't it be awesome if during this time, while people are off and spending time outdoors, wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to do that because we all just did a little part right now? Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Rejoice in the ability to be able to do something. Maybe that something is picking up garbage. Maybe that something is making the phone call to someone to just say, you know what, maybe we can't be together on Sundays, or maybe we can't be together for Bible studies or the dinners that we usually have, or whatever it may be. Maybe we can't have that personal connection because we are physically distancing ourselves right now. But I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you, and I love you, and that God loves you. And in the midst of all of this, that the Lord is faithful. Just hold on. With each day comes new hope, new promise. I know we're working our way into Palm Sunday, a day where we rejoice because the King is coming to Jerusalem. We're always in a time of the King coming. I think each night when we go to sleep, we awaken in the morning with all that's on the horizon before us. What is the King going to bless us with today? How are we going to be seeing him today? The church may not be meeting at the moment, but it is deployed and it is taking place. The church is not the building. The church is not Sunday morning worship. And I hope and I pray that for each of us, we are realizing that the church is so much more than Sunday morning for an hour, hour and a half of worship and fellowship. It is a huge part, but there is so much more to the gospel than Sunday morning. We rejoice on Sunday morning, and we sing our praises, and we lift our prayers, and we hear the gospel read, and we hear a message given and songs sung, and our children learn, and prayers for people are lifted up. But that should be taking place all week long. So that I ask it as we head into Palm Sunday, that you just pay attention. Where do you see the King before you? Where do you see God working in creation around you? Where do you see where you could be a help or an aid, whether it be in helping out the environment, whether it be helping out a neighbor, another family, friend, whatever it may be? The church is in full action right now. And I think because of that, hopefully people are seeing that. Seeing the love that's being shared. I know tonight I posted on Facebook that at 7 p.m. tonight, my hope is that people can go outside and place some sort of a light out front, whether it be a big beacon in the front yard, whether it be a candle on the front porch, whether it be just a light out front of some sort, maybe a battery-operated lantern or something. For all those that are just on the front lines right now of what seems like a war zone to some, probably, who are especially in some of the places where this virus has hit hardest. I can't even fathom. But I ask that you place the light out front. Go out with your family, whoever's present at the time, 7 p.m. I ask that you gather and say a prayer. But as well, lift up all those people working in the supermarkets who, many of them are young. And as we know, at certain ages, especially once you hit a certain age, you realize that at the ages of like 16 to 22, very often we were invincible. And you know what? We're really not. So let's lift up all our people that are in the supermarkets, and our essential workers, and our nurses and CNAs and doctors, and those who are in nursing homes and still doing the job of taking care of other humans when everybody else is in lockdown and not supposed to be really having anything to do with anybody. They're on the front lines of taking care of people, those that are dealing with the homeless. I know there are some of us that are still helping with mobile ministries and feeding the homeless throughout the week in New Bedford. We take precautions, but they're not going anywhere. We can't forget about them. We can't forget about our elderly. We can't forget about our children. So I ask that as we go through the week, that you take the time to look around. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Rejoice in all that He has done, will do, and is able to do, even in the midst of this mess. So please, I just ask that you continue to give time to the Lord each day. Read from the Word itself. Let it set within you and percolate into a wonderful and splendid aroma of love to those around you. I hope and pray that you have an amazing rest of your day, and share the gospel. Remember to share it in every way you can, at all times you can, with all people you can. And take the time when it's decent enough and you feel like it, get outside. Take a walk. Look around you. And if anything, let a child take you for a walk. You never know where you'll end up. You may end up only at the end of the driveway, but the amazement that you will find along the way is immense. Love you all. Take care. And I will see you soon.